Hi leaders, today we are going to be doing a writing lesson. And in our lesson today, we're going to be learning how to write a letter. This is our objective for today's lesson. So we're going to read it 2 times. I'll read it the first time and you can read it with me the second time. I can identify and explain the different parts of a letter. I can identify and explain the different parts of a letter. So as we are going through our lesson today, the question we are trying to answer is, what are the different parts of a letter? We're going to be learning about 5 different parts of a letter that help make our letters complete. So the first thing I want you to think about is if you have ever written a letter to someone. If you have, what was it for? Just like an author has a purpose for writing a story, people can have different purposes for writing a letter. Some of the reasons you might write a letter are to greet someone, thank someone, an apology letter, maybe a letter to persuade or convince someone of something, to ask someone questions, or to share information. When you write a letter, there are a lot of different parts to help make your letter great or to make it complete. So we're going to go through each of those right now. So as I stated just a minute ago, there are 5 main parts of a letter. Those parts are the heading, greeting, body, closing, and signature. We're going to go through each of these a little bit further so you're prepared to write your own letter. So the first part is the heading, and you can see it circled in the red circle at the top of the page. The heading goes in the top right corner. It's the first thing that you'll write on your paper. It includes the date that you wrote the letter. So for example, you could write May 11th, 2020, or you could just write it with numbers and say 5/11/2020. The next part of your letter is the greeting, and you can see the circle around that right now. The greeting goes after the heading on the opposite corner, so it'll go on the left side of the page. The greeting includes the name of who you're writing to. You'll always put a comma after that person's name as well. When you're doing your greeting, you can pick a word that you want to put in front, like dear or hello, to start your greeting. So for example, you could have Dear Miss Benares or Hello Miss Benares. The next part of your letter is the body. The body goes after your greeting, and this is where you're going to put the message that you're sending your reader. You can say hello, ask questions, give information, or persuade or convince someone of something. When you're writing your body, the thing you want to remember is to always write in full sentences and make sure you have a punctuation mark at the end of every sentence, whether that's a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point. So an example of something you may write is, I hope you're doing well. I miss coming to school every day. What are you doing at home? So in my body, I asked how they're doing, and I asked what they're doing at home. The next part of your letter is the closing. You can see it circled closer to the bottom of the page. The closing goes on the right side of the page, right after the body. This is when you're going to sign off to end your letter. So remember, just like in our greeting, you're going to have to put a comma after your closing. So some examples of closings you can use are your friend, from, or sincerely. The very last part of your letter is the signature. The signature goes right under the closing. This is where you're going to write or sign your name in cursive. So the example shows you how to write your name with print or to write it in cursive. I wrote my name, Miss Benares, as the example. So for your closing and your signature, it might say, Sincerely, Miss Benares, or Your friend, Miss Benares.